welcome to today's lesson. I'm Julie from Purpose Wellbeing and this is Parker. And today's lesson we're just going to spend a few minutes on yoga for back care. It's an area really for a lot of us where we can have tension and pain. So today's lesson is just going to focus on that. But let's just start by taking a couple of breaths. So coming down to the mat to a comfortable seated position, whatever that means for you. And just start with maybe closing the eyes and take a deep breath in through the nose and a big sigh out through the mouth. And let's take another deep breath in and a sigh out through the mouth. And then let's really drop the shoulders away from the ears and release any tension in the face. Just taking a couple of minutes to arrive here on the mat. And now we're going to roll down onto our backs. So just come so that the feet are flat on the floor, the knees are bent, hold on to the back of the thighs and roll down on the back. So we're going to start with some pelvic tilts. So you're going to flatten the lower back into the mat, and as you do the pelvis will come forward. And then we're going to release. So you're breathing out as you flatten the back and breathing in to release. Breathing out and in. So we're just warming up the pelvic area here and seeing how that pelvis moves. So if you practice this every day, you might be able to see some differences in the range of movement that you've got in the pelvis. And then we're going to bring each knee into the chest one at once. So just hugging the knees into the chest and feeling the lower back flatten out. Just taking some breaths here. Holding on to the left knee, we're going to take some hip circles with the right. So we're pushing the knee away and round to the side and back in. So just taking some circles, finding some movement in the hip. If you have any hip issues, just be really careful and take whatever range of movement feels good for you. Then let's change legs, moving to the left leg, seeing how it feels on each side. It might feel different on one side to the other for you. So you're just pushing that knee away, bringing it round to the side and back into the chest. Then coming back to stillness, let's see how we feel about taking both of the knees out together and doing some hip circles with both hips. Then come back to stillness, give yourself a hug, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out through the nose. And then lower one foot to the floor, then the other. Taking the left ankle over the right knee and flexing that foot. Lifting the right leg up and threading the hands through for this figure four stretch. I think all you'll be able to hear is the dog chewing on his bone, so I do apologise for that. We're flexing both of the feet here and bringing that right thigh closer to the body to feel that stretch on the outside of the left thigh, the glutes, the bum cheek. So this is a really good stretch if you suffer from sciatica. It really helps to release the sciatic nerve and release that pain that you might experience. Let's take that right foot back to the floor, followed by the left foot.
and then change sides. So the right ankle comes to the left knee. If this is enough for you here, stay here and maybe just practice pushing that knee out to the side if that's enough of a stretch. Or we can bring the left knee into the chest, holding on the back of the thigh, and then really feeling that stretch on the outer thigh into the bum cheeks and the glutes. Flexing both of the feet. The closer you bring the knee to the chest, the more of a stretch that you will feel on the outside of that leg. So just take some lovely breaths here. Sending that breath to anywhere where you feel tension in the body. And then let's release that foot back to the floor, taking that foot down. We're going to come up to seated now, so if you want to take the hands behind the thighs, you can rock up to seated, or you can just roll over to the side and push yourself up to seated. From here, we're coming to all fours. And we want to have the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. And we're going to look forward, find that little dip in the lower back. Breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to push the bottom back towards the heels. And as we breathe in, we're coming forwards. So breathing out, pushing the bottom towards the heels. Breathing in, coming forward. So let's just do a few more of these. Stretching through the lower back and the side of the body, even into the armpits and shoulders. Just move slowly and experience that feeling of stretching in the lower back. Creating some length there. And then coming back to all fours. We're going to take the right foot back with the toes on the floor and push into the toes so that we can feel that stretch on the calf. And then bring the left hand forward. Now this might be enough for you here, so stay here feeling that stretch through the fingers and the toes. If you want to take this a little further, lift that right leg off the floor. We're going to breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to bring the elbow to the knee, round in the back. Breathing in as we stretch out, breathing out as we bring the elbow to knee. One more. Just hold it here for a second and then release the hand and the knee back to the floor. We'll take that to the other side. Left toes on the floor. Really push into those toes, feeling that stretch on the left calf. And then lengthen through the right arm. Again, you might find this is enough for you here. It's a great place to stay working on the balance. If you want to take it a little further, see how you feel about lifting that left foot off the floor, breathing in, and as we breathe out, bringing that elbow to the knee, crunching through, stretching out, as we breathe in, crunching in, as we breathe out. One last time. And then just bring that stretch through the whole of the body before we release that hand and that knee back to the floor. Our next pose is going to be plank pose, so we can do this either on the toes or the knees. So we're having the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to drop the bottom down so that we've got that straight line. So we're engaging the core here, pulling that belly button to the spine. So this is a good starting point for our plank, to hold this position. If you want to take it a little bit further, tuck the toes, lifting those knees up, keeping that belly button pulled to the spine, but not bringing the bottom up. So you want that nice straight line in the body. The head should be looking forward, maybe a couple of inches to the end of your mat, so that we're keeping that neck in line with the spine. So let's just take another breath here before we bring the knees back to the mat and tuck the toes. Look forward as we push the bottom back, coming into our child's pose. Bringing the forehead to the mat. If it doesn't reach the mat, feel free to make some fists, stacking the hands on top of each other so that can be a resting place for the head, or it might be enough to put the palms on top of each other and rest the head on the palms. Don't let the head dangle, it will put too much pressure on the neck, so make sure that it's resting on something. And just let the body let go here. Letting the breath come back down. Focusing on the dog eating the bone. Then let's bring the hands up and come back to a seated position. Let's bring the hands to Anjali Mudra, dip the chin, take another deep breath in and sigh out through the mouth. One more deep breath in and sigh out through the mouth, and give yourself some gratitude for taking these minutes out of your day to practice. Namaste.